supposed to sound like that. Right, before I pull that gearbox out, I'm going to try move some stuff in here because this is frustrating the hell out of me. Move Chip's car out of here so I've got more room and try have a bit of a rearrange, and then I'll get into pulling that gearbox out and we'll see what damage I've done. Well, it's taken some time, but we're slowly getting somewhere. About to do a big rubbish run and try to get rid of some stuff. Suppose I better make a start on this so I can get this gearbox rebuilt. One thing I do after an event is drain out E85 if I've got it in. So I just take off this return line, which is long enough. Yeah, drain it all out and then put gasoline back in and run it up just to flush everything out, because a lot of people don't really bother to, but in the long run can cause problems and it's just not worth it. Like E85, ethanol just like eats your fuel system. You end up going to the track and then you'll have a blocked fuel filter and it's just a pain in the ass. So yeah, basically just take that return line off, chuck it in there, turn the key on and she just flows out. That's the flow of a Ditchworks 400. Alrighty, let's see what chunks we have coming out of here. Should be interesting. That ain't the right colour, considering I just changed the oil not long ago. I ideally need to undo the filler too so it drains out properly. Alright, time to get into this gearbox. Just got the slip stands under there. Those things are so handy for jobs like this. Obviously just need the wheels off them at the moment to get the drive shaft off, and then I'll pop them under and it's just like the perfect height. Quite know if that's level on the jack, but where's my pry bar gone? Screwdriver, eh? Input shaft's just spreading. Yeah, the gearbox definitely isn't balanced now. Surely. There we go. One stuffed R154. Alright. The old Tilton Twins looking mint. Still heaps of meat there. It looks brand new still. It looks a bit rusty because I've had these covers off. Should probably put them back on because there's a stone there. Not too crucial, but yeah, I took them off because it stops the clutch from getting hot. I know with my old clutch and Gazza it's the same problem. Once they start getting hot, they start slipping, but I doubt it'll be an issue with this. So that's sweet. I'm just gonna pull this out and well, that was super easy. Quite often I see people saying that like gearboxes are hard to do and they can't get the top bolts and stuff. If that's the case, you just simply don't have enough extension. So this is my setup here with the universal, and it is piss easy to get them out. That probably took me all of half an hour, if that, by myself. Now, I actually discovered a few things after the track. So these tires I wanted to finish off. These are 265s, and I quickly chucked them on and was in too much of a rush, well, too much going on basically, and I forgot to check the tire pressures, and these were at 18 psi in a 265, which was why it was a bit more gripped up than usual, and that would have been a big contributing factor as to why I blew my third gear. Not to mention I've got 18mm toe-in on the rear. Also, when I went to load it on the trailer, I don't know why, but when I was on the track trying to find the gear, I could only get fourth. I was bunny hopping away trying to get back to the pits in fourth gear. And then, yeah, I went to put it back on the trailer and I found that it has all gears except third. I'm assuming third gear's stuffed and the counter shaft is probably going to be stuffed too, which is unfortunate because obviously you have to replace that whole thing. If it's not, that'll be real good because then I can just do the third gear. It was super crazy because I wish I said this in the video, but I was going to say it before I went out. Leading up to the event, I just had this weird feeling that something was going to happen. I felt like the gearbox was going to go. Now, it's had a shifting problem into third gear for years now, and I've been meaning to do it, but I've been like, wow, is it really necessary just because it, you know, grinds a tiny bit going into third gear? So I just kind of thought, well, I'll just deal with it until it actually blows, and had this weird feeling that this was the event it was going to happen. That was a separate problem. That was obviously a synchro problem which had nothing to do with the third gear going. I mean, I guess now I'm going to be able to fix everything, and the selector forks in these are common to go. Gazza had the same problem. They basically snap. It's going to be a good opportunity to do billet selector forks at the same time, and then all going well, this should be fairly strong. A lot of people commonly say these R154s are very weak, and I don't totally agree, to be honest, because when you think about it, this thing has had so much abuse in this car. This has been in the car since Japan years and years ago, and it's just been hammered. And this is the first time I've had a problem. That's pretty good going, to be honest. Yes, they're not ideal for real big power, but to be honest, they do handle quite a bit of abuse. As long as you're not just being an absolute idiot with it and, like, you know, clutch kicking in, say, 4th gear or something. That's why I try to avoid clutch kicking it. Honestly, I'm not even mad, because I'm very surprised it's lasted this long, to be honest. And I know a lot of people go to a dog box, and people said that to me straight away once this happened, and I just really don't want to. I just don't find it necessary. I just like my super simple setup. Same as like my handbrake, like just having the stock handbrake, and you know, a lot of people have said get a hydro. It's, I don't know, for some reason I just like a simple setup. Comes back to my theory that I've said before, and you know, do you need it? Well then, don't get it, because then you're just spending money for the sake of it. By the way, people keep asking for us to do these hoodies. These were the first ones we ever done, and I don't know if it's just a select few that want them. If there's enough people that want them, we could consider it, but I just find it surprising that people still want these. Well, if you can't tell, all of a sudden I'm in Auckland and I'm not having a good time. I don't think I'll ever like driving here. After an 8-hour trip, because there was a big crash and the road was closed, made it here. I was going to pull apart my gearbox to see what I broke for a bit of content, but then there wasn't much point. I've just dropped my gearbox off to Casper Transmissions. They're always super helpful, and Mike does so much for the drifting community, so it's now in good hands. So yeah, basically they're gonna tear it down and give it a good overhaul and basically do everything, like billet selector forks, thrush washer, my damaged synchro. What the fuck? And obviously my 3rd gear, so stoked on that. So yeah, if you need any transmission stuff done, make sure to hit them up. I was actually up this way anyway, because I'm now heading to Thames to dig into the RX-7, so I thought, well, while I'm up here I may as well drop it off. I'm gonna go get some ethanol first, then I'm off to Thames. So yeah, looking forward to getting into the RX-7. Stuck in 5 o'clock traffic, this is no good. In my fucking Hilux. Got quite the load here. Got all the ethanol, 250 litres of E100, so I'll mix it myself. She's a bit sagged out. $3 for diesel, that is some Mickey Mouse bullshit. How is it nearly the same price as petrol? Going away in the diesel used to be cheap as hell. Now to go anywhere, it's stupidly expensive. Well, it's the next day. Made it after a huge day yesterday here at the one and only. And look what's there. This is my first flat deck, and they are so handy. There's so much room on this. I've had a pretty big load. I had the gearbox on and everything, all these bumpers. So yeah, bring mine and Gaz's bumper. Gonna try repair these. Pretty blown to bits. James doesn't like the look of them, but we'll see what we can do. Anyway, just doing a few things on this Hilux, like someone's resprayed this door before and just done a crap job at prepping it, so gonna redo that, just make it look a bit tidier. And all in here, like, I'd say any Hilux over like 250,000 Ks, these are always like this, and just the paint slowly wears off and then starts to get a bit of surface rust, so you're going to repaint those. Not that it really matters, because obviously it's a 4-wheel drive, but hey, may as well. I've actually spent quite a bit on this one. Brand new wheels, brand new lift, all sorts. During, got it all tidied up now, ready to put some base down. The joys of fiberglassing. Gaz's one's the definition of blowing to bits. He's lucky I'm fixing it for him. As for my one, it's not too bad. It's just got one crack, and then basically sand it down and fix her up. Hilux is in here ready to go. Apparently I have to paint it, so we'll see how this goes. all done. I'm quite stoked, not bad at all. Even done my first proper blend on this guard here. James got sick of fixing fiberglass bumpers, so here we are.
And a fiberglass boat.
We're hissing. Fun quick little session on the boat. I got the Hilux done here. Didn't go crazy on it. This has got 300,000 Ks on it, so there was no point going and getting every single dent, but it's good enough. Pretty stoked with my job because the guard was a bit of a different color because it had been resprayed before, so I blended in halfway into the guard and now you can't notice, so not bad. So now we're gonna put the RX-7 on the trailer, take it to James's, and we're about to do some stuff on it. Quite exciting, so you'll see that in the next video. Well, here's the bumpers, and for the first time ever, James said he's sending them. He's had enough.
They are clapped.
They've been repaired that many times, like they're getting beyond repairable, so.
Oh, you could repair them, but like the time versus quality of the job, man, you'd spend a week tidying them up.
So we've done quite a bit of fiberglass on them. At least they're structural somewhat, and then just putting filler in, and at least they're, you know, one color, they're gonna be sweet. There's no point going crazy. The shit thing about it is there's just never any stock for body kits in New Zealand, so you can't just, it would be ideal to just go buy a new one and paint it, but you can't. So we'll tidy them up a bit more and we'll paint them at some stage, no big rush at the moment. But yeah, we're gonna start getting into the RX-7, so I think that's gonna be it for this video. So make sure to like and subscribe and hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next one.